Hello everyone. As many of you have joined us from various parts of the world today, a very good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on the part of the geography you are in. My name is Nitin Kalutia, and I'm an associate partner in the business consulting group at ITC Infotech. It is my pleasure to welcome you all on behalf of ITC Infotech to this webinar. We shall discuss today about keeping the MES program on track during COVID-19 and beyond. I shall be moderating today's discussion and bring in the perspective of a service provider. Once again, I welcome you all to this particular webinar. Let me begin this webinar by introducing two very learned and accomplished speakers who are with us today for this session. Our first speaker of the day is Mr. Martin Nahuatl, Director Manufacturing Network Development at Kony Corporation. In the current role, he is responsible for development and implementation of global manufacturing strategy. He has over 2.5 decades of industry experience, and he brings incredible knowledge and understanding of driving manufacturing transformation. He has accomplished it using the classical operational excellence methodologies like Lean and Six Sigma, and the new age information technology like the MES and the IoT. Mr. Martin plays an instrumental role in the ongoing MES implementation at Kony Corporation. I wouldn't be wrong in saying that it is his vision and leadership that led to a successful MES program at Kony Corporation. Welcome, Mr. Martin, to this session.
Welcome to all. Hello.
Thank you, Martin. Joining Mr. Martin is Mr. Parakh Chen, who is the founder, Parakh Consulting and EIRtrend.com. Mr. Parakh has over 20 years of industry experience. He has seen the engineering and manufacturing industry from 4 different perspectives: that of an analyst, a buyer, an advisor, and a service provider. Research is his passion, which led him to start Parakh Consulting and EIRtrend.com. His experience is in providing actionable insights by analyzing market trends and leveraging his experience of running a business. Mr. Parakh is regularly quoted in media on engineering, IT, and manufacturing trends. It's a pleasure to have you with us today, Mr. Parakh.
Thanks, Nitin. Hello, all.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Parakh, for joining us. Thank you, Martin, for joining us for this webinar. As most of us are aware, the adoption of information technology in the manufacturing sector across the globe has been increasing, but not at a very very gradual pace. It's not been at a pace that we anticipated or we would like to see it to be. Investments in IT application for a manufacturing plant has been a function of the impact that it could possibly bring, either on productivity and efficiency improvement, on quality enhancement, cost reduction, or delivery reliability improvement, or maybe a combination of these factors. There are multiple forums on this subject today, and the conversation around the role of IT in manufacturing has ever been increasing. And if I were to really refer to some survey reports of leading consulting companies, most CXOs believe the role of IT in manufacturing to be of great relevance to them and of interest, but very few have invested in its adoption at a large scale. While many organizations have conducted pilots, but you'll be surprised to know that many have not, very few in fact have got onto a full-scale implementation. In the recent past, as we all know, supply chains were disrupted like never before, and most manufacturing organizations struggle to respond to this disruption, primarily because the current systems, processes, and infrastructure were never designed to handle fluctuations or uncertainties to this scale. So the question that we have is, as we move ahead into the future, will we see the role of technology in manufacturing sector increasing? And will the decision-making criteria for investment really change? Today, in this webinar, we will focus on one core manufacturing technology, and that is the manufacturing execution system, or even popularly known as manufacturing operations management. Mr. Parekh, you have been tracking this MES MOM market for over 2 decades now. We've also seen that MES MOM has grown at a CAGR of over 11% over the last 5 to 7 years, as I see from some of the reports. And it's also been predicted to grow at a similar pace in the next 5 to 7 years. Though these projections were made pre-COVID era, how do you really see the role of MES changing in the manufacturing sector? And do you believe that MES adoption could really continue to grow at the same pace? Mr. Parekh, your thoughts, please.
Okay, thanks, Nitin. I agree with your optimism, Nitin. MES is a necessary for Industry 4.0. It is an essential building block for digital transformation of any manufacturing enterprise. Manufacturing enterprise generally aspire to implement digital thread by integrating the value chain of your design, manufacturing, supply chain, and operations. So if MES implemented correctly, it can bring a step change in your productivity, efficiency, flexibility, and quality at shop floor. I have seen many enterprises implementing some sort of MES either through homegrown tools or pointed solution, but that way they don't get full benefit of MES. Generally, these homegrown tools don't scale with the technology or the requirements. So what now enterprises are doing is they are implementing the enterprise platforms in their plants, and then they aspire to become one MES, integrating your multi-plant or multi-country operations. And that way they can get full benefit of MES. So this drive towards one MES will be a major growth driver for MES going forward. There are short-term challenges because of COVID-19, because of uncertainty and funds around. And simultaneously, there are a lot of opportunities coming up in virtualization, decentralization. We'll talk about in the later part of our discussion. But
Sure.
right now, I'm very confident that MES will grow and best days of MES are ahead. Nitin.
That's very promising. I think we all, as service providers, also believe that MES has been the building block of a digital factory, and with that confidence, I'm sure that this technology adoption will continue to grow as we move ahead. That brings me to the first poll of the day or of this webinar. The question that we have for all of you is, do you think that your company could have managed the current situation better if you had an MES in your plant? Can we have the poll up? So, Mr. Parekh, while people answer the poll question, what do you think would be the answers? Or do people still believe in the factories about this technology, or do we still think that people are yet to be educated about the importance of MES?
Yeah, I think organizations are doing some sort of MES, so they know about MES, but they don't know the full potential yet.
Okay,
So I think
great.
that will be interesting to hear their opinion
Let's
about it.
let's see what the audience believe. Martin, you have been a very, I would say, you have been implementing the technology. What does your peers think? Do you think that people around the industry are aware of the potential of MES?
Yeah, here I would agree with Mr. Parekh. So I think by learning in implementation MES, we are all learning about the full potential. And with this kind of 6 years journey at Kone with MES, I think we are still learning to get this kind of platform benefit across the whole supply chain.
Right. I think the poll survey just validated what you and Mr. Parekh said. Half of the audience believe that yes, they would have been able to manage their programs or their factories in the situations better if they had an MES. And we do have another 40% of the population which still believes, which is still not sure. So you're right, there is a need for the education. And since this is a platform that I would want to use to bring in your knowledge and expertise and your experiences and learning from having implemented MES in your organization, so that the audience here could learn and understand the full potential of an MES. And for people who strongly believe in the power of MES, this would be only an opportunity that I would want to use to cement their thought process about it. So let me come to you, Martin. You have been implementing MES for a while in your organization. So my question to you is, uh, would you really like to share with the audience what was the business case which led to Kone choosing MES as the starting point of a digital transformation for the factory?
Yes, for sure. Happy to share our experience. So before answering directly about the business case, we have to touch a very important part of creating right environment for transformation project like MES it is. So that means in practice we need to be clear about the culture, strategy, operational model, and leadership. So MES is not just implementing tool. It's really big transformation projects which is impacting a lot to organization. At Kone, culture is demonstrated in our values like delighting to customer, energy for renewal, passion for performance, and winning with customers. And operation model in practice it means that processes, roles, organization, data, IT tools, governance, business performance management need to be in place and well defined and follow day by day. So we have clear strategy at Kone, which is about deliver best people flow experience, which should be supported in every process at Kone in order to winning with customer. That means this kind of digitalization is one mega trend which help us support this journey. So here we are coming to the MES, right? Which is not about the tool implementation, but about like driving this kind of transformation project, supporting with the good leadership and good change management. So it's very important that to have like good deployment of the lean principle and integrated framework with industry 4.0. And here's the case about the MES. So coming back to your question about the business case. So we decide to embed MES into our manufacturing strategy. That means that we are changing the way how our factory is operating. In order to boost the productivity in our factories based off the real-time monitoring when we are executing the processes in warehouses or in quality in production. So data are key here. So without having the clear data which represent what is really ongoing in the shop floor, you cannot capture this kind of benefit. And great things on the MES is that you have this kind of real time during the shift, by end of the shift, by the week, month, quarterly. So when you combining this kind of strong culture for the continuous improvement based on the data and link with this kind of lean approach, then you can get not only the boost your productivity, but also driving the benefits in the full chain quality.
Sure. Martin, very insightful. I think I could also pick up two points that you spoke. One was about commitment of the leadership and the change management. And I, being a service provider and an implementer, I believe one of the key success factors for a good MES implementation has been the leadership commitment and the drive, and secondly the change management. How do we really get people to start using the technology and drive benefits out of it? So very valid points. And what I understand is you said that the entire program was tried aligned to meeting the customer expectations, or I would say improving the customer delight. I think very well said. Let me move on to the next question. Since you brought the point of a customer and the focus on the business requirements, how has MES really helped improve the responsiveness to the customers and bring benefits at a business level? It would really help if you could cite some specific examples from your industry.
Yeah, thanks for the good question. At Kone, we have different ways to win with our customer. I would split into 4 areas. First is about the collaborative innovation and new competencies. because MES is kind of foundation for digital transformation in manufacturing, and is bringing this kind of digital competencies in the shop floor. And how is done? Because it's coordinating and synchronizing the people, processes, equipment, tooling, materials in the global scale with this kind of global enterprise MES. So this is the first. So collaboration in innovative way and building the digital competencies. Second, winning with customer is true service mindset. So with MES, we connect our factories, machines, people, processes, and replacing the fragmented systems. I think it was also shared with Mr. Parakh that this kind of local systems as a kind of very good help by the beginning. But is it really sustainable, and are we getting the platform benefit? This is maybe the point which we should all think. And we decided at Kone to go with this strategical approach, and when this kind of service mindset focusing, we are improving also our agility and flexibility. Third point is the customer-centric solution. So where MES is minimizing the cycle times, improving the responsiveness and improving the quality in the food chain. Of course, this is, as I said before, depending how good you are with this kind of Lean Six Sigma culture, because MES is providing you a lot of data, which you can drive it with good continuous improvement. Last not least is this kind of fast and smart execution. This is the last building blocks for our winning strategy approach. So with MES, we give maximum transparency to our customer regarding our deliveries. So we drive the continuous improvement based on the gaps, and we also empower our teams, because those things will be like very visual to our employees, to our visitors on the real-time data.
Interesting, very
so
interesting.
If I summarize this kind of customer, so we put in the customer in the center of Kone manufacturing operation, and delivers quickly time to market, a higher quality product, and create the trust.
Very interesting. Mr. Parakh, I will just jump to you for a question or a point that I picked up from Mr. Martin's conversation. He mentioned something about collaborative innovation, and you did mention about it in your starting conversation. Would you just like to highlight a bit more as to how people are really leveraging this particular approach in driving their digital transformation?
Right. So I think, as Martin rightly pointed out, it's not about tool only, it's about total digital transformation. And then so many people are involved internally and externally. Internally, you will have your IT team, your OT team, then you have your MES vendor, your implementation partner. And then because it is part of larger industry 4.0, you will have R&D, you will have supply chain, you will have operations, and then you have a corporate team looking for it, your digital transformation. So aligning with all of these things and getting value out of it, that's a, I think, very collaborative exercise. So tool implementation is one part, and getting value out of it is this, and then I think proper collaboration is required with all this.
So can I say this, that while people have been saying MES is all about the shop floor implementation and it is all about manufacturing, I think the message that you want to take away is that it's not just about manufacturing, it is having the entire enterprise participating into a program when we're going through an MES transformation?
Right, and MES is one part of the puzzle. And
one part of
overall organization is driving the digital transformation, and there are so many initiatives, and we need to make sure that MES delivers it so that it's gives a larger benefit to the organization.
Nice. So Martin, coming back to you, this is a question that I'm sure a lot of audience are curious to get an insight onto. So the question is, you have factories where there are MES and there are factories which is still to get an MES. So you can see both the sides of a coin. So how are the factories with MES faring better with the ones that do not have an MES in place today?
Well, there are several good examples for MES run type of factories at Kone. which are getting kind of the more benefits than factories running without MES based on the local kind of MES. So first good example is daily management. So scheduling is giving the right work sequence in the digital way, and supervisors based on the flow standards define the targets for the line, areas, machine, again in the digital way, and supervisor monitor the progress during the shift. So in order to achieve the targets which are given for the safety, for the quality, for the productivity, this monitoring is very visual by using the dashboard during the shift to different organization levels. So it's not only for the operator, but also supervisor and management. And by using the undone, operators can very easily escalate the problem. And by doing that, we ensure also quick response time from service teams. And also those things are visible in different level of organization, as I said. So the service team's responsiveness and quality of the service is definitely one big benefit for MES running factories. And we transfer those service kind of benefits into the leading indicator, for example, for maintenance, warehouse, quality, industrial engineering teams. So by the end of the shift, it's not only during the shift that we are having the quick, fast response and good quality response, but by the end of the shift, we understand the gaps. And thanks to the monitoring of the downtime, rework, and other things, we use this kind of information for driving continuous improvement. So this is the one example. Another example is traceability and transparency. So our delivery model support full product lifecycle, and based on the process data, we are driving much more better root cause analysis, because those data are visible, transparent, and more detailed. So based on this kind of transparency and traceability, we are achieving higher excellence in our deliveries.
Sure. So, Martin, what I take away from your conversation is that it has really simplified the way of managing a factory where you got an MES. So there's a lot of qualitative benefit. People are able to operate and manage the factory operations much better. You also spoke about traceability and transparency, which helps us do a very detailed root cause analysis. Just to conclude on this particular point, will I be right in saying that all this has also led to a quantified improvement in the performance matrices? So will I say that factories which have got an MES on the comparable matrices, they are doing a little better than the ones that do not have an MES in place?
Yes, we can translate into this kind of conclusion. Of course, there are also the other aspects depend on the factory maturity level, but definitely manufacturing execution system with this kind of real monitoring of the processes is bringing much more opportunities for the achieving the better results.
Very interesting. So just the last question, we spoke about the business case, we spoke about the benefits. I just want to conclude this conversation on the MES part by asking you that we all believe that MES is the founding block of a digital factory. So with the factories where you already have an MES, how do you plan to take the journey forward on a continuous improvement mode?
As I said, MES is kind of the strategical project to change way of operating in our factories. So we are now in the middle of the rollout. Several factories are using MES, and they are improving also the maturity by using the MES. So there is a lot of learning still in the front of us. But the rest of the factories are in our plans to roll out for the next years. But parallel to that, we drive manufacturing execution roadmap to build on top of basic modules which we are today using, which are in the warehouse production and quality. and we are planning to implement more modules to capture more opportunities. So the final target for us is achieving the smart factories integrated level and being connected. So what does mean the smart factories at Köln? It's meaning that we are connected, we optimize, we are transparent, proactive, and agile. But there are also the other projects at Kone, supply chain development. We hardly work on the new ecosystem for the product creation. New SAP is coming, big data, product harmonization. So those are the other strategical projects which will enable our factories being even more effective than today. So, and this gives also like more and more possibilities to utilize the MES functionalities. So soon the other manufacturing technology will bring more benefits in the automation, connectivity, and intelligence. So we will be ready with this kind of foundations.
Great. So Martin, you used MES as the founding block, and on top of that, now you're talking about automation, intelligence, and connectivity layers coming in that will give you more of, I would say, insightful, intelligent insights that you could leverage to improve your performance better. Do I get that right?
Yes, that's right understanding. Yes.
Thank you so much for those very insightful and that detailed conversation that we had. Thank you for sharing those insights. Uh, let's move on to the next poll. But before we get into the question, a lot of us in the poll said that we strongly believe in the power of MES to manage our shop floors. So let's understand from the audience how many of them are really implementing it, how many of them are planning to implement, and how many of them are yet to start the journey. So with that, can we have the next poll question, please? Mr. Parekh, since we have a large percentage of audience who strongly believe that MES is a good tool and something that is relevant and important for them, what percentage of people do you think would already be going through an implementation program? If you were to take a guess.
Yeah, I think I will stick my neck out and say more than 50% will have some implementation in progress. But overall, I don't think very few will have complete MES in all their plants. So I think they will be somewhere in the middle.
So I believe that I agree. If we take the people who are implementation in progress and people who are in the planning stage, I think we put together, they should for sure be more than a 50% audience here.
Right.
We'll just wait to see how the answers come out.
Okay, we're close.
Yeah. Yeah,
Right.
I think we have about 51% of the audience. Yeah, 51% of the audience who are already in the implementation or starting a journey.
Yeah.
I think that gives me a lot of confidence to move on to the next section of this webinar, because that is all about saying these are tough times. It is challenging to continue with our MES programs. So I'm sure the audience would like to know how do we continue the journey forward and how do we continue to take this program. So with this, I will like to talk about the 4D framework that allows manufacturers to extract maximum value at an optimal cost from their MES landscape. This framework that we have developed helps optimize cost in the current programs and generates additional value from existing solutions without new capex or major investments. The revised delivery and the business models that we have developed ensures manufacturers can continue with their ongoing MES implementation with minimal impact or the risk on the financial side. Today, I take this opportunity to talk about the 4D MES framework that ITC Infotech has developed and using which we are able to help our client continue their MES program in the testing time. The 4 dimensions of the framework that we're talking about, the first is a domain leadership. One of the requirements for most clients today is how do I reduce the MES implementation lead time? How do we get return on investment in shortened duration? And while we do while we go through an MES implementation, is there a way that we can deploy industry best practices so that we are able to become a world-class manufacturing organization. We are a part of an ITC group, which gives us access to a large diversified manufacturing footprint and gives us insights into a real shop floor challenges, which we then use to create quantifiable benefits for our clients. So, using this in-depth knowledge, what we do is we define and design point solutions for problem solving. These point solutions then create business value for our clients with minimal investments, because we are able to take one of the pain areas of a client, design and develop a solution and implement to solve that. And normally when we pick up these problems, these are the problems which are impacting key performance, either from a bottom line or from a customer metric perspective. The next solution that I'm here to talk about is our MES Express that we have created. As the name suggests, MES Express is a pre-built template configured for industry-specific processes and can be deployed in 12 to 16 weeks, which is significantly lower than the standard MES implementation lead time, which, if I were not wrong, to my knowledge is anywhere between 10 to 12 months. So what is MES Express really doing? It is helping us reduce the entire implementation lead time. It is helping our clients to leverage the value of their implementation or to get benefits of their investment much faster. And since these templates are built on industry-specific processes, we have considered and built these processes as world-class practices, or I would say the best-in-class processes. So this is how the client is able to get the benefit of an MES implementation much faster. What is also important to note is that MES Express is designed to handle all core shop floor processes with an inbuilt feature for extension into other manufacturing areas as well. So we start with the core manufacturing processes and we are able to develop and deploy additional processes as required by our clients. The third solution that we built in this area is our factory command and control center, which helps in bringing performance visibility. I think Martin also spoke about that is important for us to have a real-time visibility of our KPIs, of our matrices, so that we are able to respond faster. So our factory command and control center helps building performance visibility right to a machine level, to a plant level, to a country level, and even at a global level. And what happens with this? We are able to do real-time performance analysis. We are able to benchmark performance within factories across geographies, and we are able to initiate actions in shorter intervals, ultimately leading to improvement on key operational matrices. So in a nutshell, if we are to talk about using a domain leadership, what have we done? So what we have done is we have built MES Express, Factory Command and Control Center, and we developed point solutions which have been able to significantly reduce MES implementation lead time, solve manufacturing specific problems for our clients, and generate business value for our clients. So this is one of the core leadership or core domain leadership that we have developed. Moving to the next dimension of the 4D framework, it is the technology lever that I would like to talk about. So what we do is we leverage our technology assessment framework and the technical expertise that we have in-house to identify and utilize MES components for efficiency improvement that have been unutilized or underutilized. So we do see a lot of our clients who have got licenses and who have got multiple features on an MES which are still not getting utilized. So what we do is we try and utilize these components so that our clients are able to get maximum benefit of the technology which is already existing. In addition to this, what we also do is our team reviews and modifies the existing architecture, landscape, and applications to improve application speed and user friendliness. The user experience, which is a critical element of any of the technology use, is something that we focus on, and keeping employees at the centricity of the most of the development that we do, we are able to bring in user friendliness into the existing solutions that are available. And ultimately, all this leads into a performance enhancement. This is how we have been able to extract maximum value from the existing MES landscape. In addition to this, what we've also done is we have leveraged automation toolkit, which is the DevOps and the test automation for automating the entire life cycle of an MES program, right? And what it does is, and we also manage a large scale program using the DevOps and the automation toolkit that we have. What it helps us do is it helps us optimize the entire testing effort. It helps us plan efficient releases. And most importantly, it helps us reduce the business disruptions. Something which is very, very important to our clients, that would like to see minimum disruptions on the shop floor because of a new rollout happening or because of the new enhancements coming to the shop floor. The another unique feature that we have is we utilize our pre-built connectors and libraries for external systems integration. And we extend the platform capabilities through our wrappers and accelerators without the need for new integration components, which is something very, very unique to what ITC Infotech has got to offer. So basically, using our technical solutions and expertise, we create what we call as a unified MES that works seamlessly with the existing IT and OT infrastructure at our client's location. While I've spoken about use of domain to reduce MES implementation lead time, let us now understand how are we leveraging our delivery efficiency lever for managing the programs in the current scenario. All of us understand the challenges that we have around the mobility today, and we also understand that there's often a need for team to be on site for an MES project or for a deployment, be it in the initial blueprinting exercise while we're defining the scope, be it during the design and development or at the go live stage, right? Martin would appreciate that, or he would acknowledge that yes, it was important for the team to be on site. So with all the constraints that we have around travel, one of the concerns that our client is, how do we manage MES implementation with IT folks being in a remote location? The first question is it really possible? And even if it is, how effective will it be? Let me just highlight, our teams are equipped to work remotely at 100% efficiencies because of the internal governance structure that we have, which helps us design, develop, test, and deploy solutions even in a scenario where mobility is severely restricted. I just want to illustrate, for one of our clients in North America recently, the entire MES rollout was handled remotely, and the go live in fact happened just a few weeks ago. And that is a testimony of the fact that we are able to manage an MES rollout remotely, primarily because of three key factors that I believe. One is a deep domain knowledge, so we understand the business of our clients, the technology expertise that we have, and the implementation experience that the team brings on. So learning from the challenges that we faced in our past implementations, learning from what could really go wrong, create a complete risk mitigation plan. And once we create a risk mitigation plan upfront, we are able to manage our program deployment effectively, even from remote location. Last but not least, our team structures leverages the concept of shared resources, something which is unique, I believe, to ITC Infotech, to improve resource utilization and optimize the overall development cost. Manufacturing companies can also take the advantage of the fact that we offer upgrades in new releases at zero cost. So the point that I'm trying to make is that this is how we have been able to manage programs for our clients remotely and be able to reduce the overall project cost. Moving ahead to the last dimension of the framework, which is the disruptive business models. Let me present to you multiple ways in which we manage some of the core financial investment concerns for our clients. As we all know, cost flow management is a focus area for most organizations in these uncertain times. New investment in IT are likely to be deferred, and every investment will go through a really detailed scrutiny before the money is spent. Being able to justify this investment in MES implementation will require organizations to build a strong business case. And what do we have to offer here? We have a proprietary assessment framework that helps quantify benefits from an MES implementation, not just at an overall level, but we are able to comment as to what would be the level of maturity improvement at a process level, at a KPI level, and what is the financial benefit that the client can target as a part of the MES implementation. This output from the assessment is then further used to calculate the ROI and helps clients take a calculated and informed decisions on their investment. Taking our core value of customer centricity, we offer a consumption-based service model. Our subscription-based pricing linked to number of users in factory, variable bandwidth-based support engagements, and commercials linked to outcomes help manufacturers reduce the overall investment and the risk associated with a milestone-based payment model, which is typically an industry norm today. So these multiple engagement models enable our clients to continue their MES journey even in these testing times. Having spoken about these 4 dimensions of our MES framework, what have we really brought on the table for our clients? What are the results that our client has really seen in the recent past? So what we have been able to do is reduce the implementation lead time for a full-fledged MES program from by 25 to 30%, and the total cost of ownership by almost around 20%. A 12 to 16 weeks lead time implementation for MES Express is a benchmark in itself. And just to highlight, our point solutions have delivered a 3 to 5% improvement in productivity, a 5 to 6% reduction in cost of poor quality, a 12 to 15% reduction in shop floor inventory. I'm sure most of you can correlate that these are some of the critical matrices for a manufacturing team or for a manufacturing organization. This is all that I had to present to you on our 4D MES framework. I hope the insights were meaningful, and I'll be happy to take this conversation beyond this webinar. I would just like to remind you all, we will take audience questions towards the end of this session. Please do drop in your questions using the Q&A options on your screen. Let me quickly move on to Mr. Parakh. I know we have run out of time, but I just have some quick questions for you. How do you really see the role of MES changing in the post-COVID era?
Right. I see 3 major trends overall in the world in the post-COVID. First is the virtualization, moving from physical to virtual. Everything which can be virtualized will be virtualized. So in our manufacturing world, we will have more automated plants, which has less dependence on human and which can be managed or operated virtually. So here MES can help. Second trend is moving from centralized operations to decentralized operations. And it can be new plants or it can be smaller plants in different cities and all. Here also MES can help. And third is the whole paradigm shift from cost optimization now to agility, flexibility, resilience. So this might meet the flexibility for this your shop floor to manufacture new products in short lead time, like what we have seen with PPE, sanitizers and all in some cases, or it might make new plants in different locations which are closer to customers. So again, here MES can help in these trends. So apart from that, what we see the few challenges in the post-corona world. The 2 challenges I see, first is your uncertainty. We don't know when and how this pandemic will end, and that creates uncertainty on your demand, supply, on people, your operations, regulations, and everywhere. And MES can help in planning some of these uncertainties. And another uncertainty which you touched upon recently was this thing, your virtual implementation. Now we don't know when the people will be able to move physically, so you have to implement virtually. Even physical implementation was tough, and virtually it's more tougher. So it separates experts from the average. The second challenge we see the funds here. So as you rightly put out, many people want to implement MES, but they will have shortage of funds. So how you manage business case around it? So if you go to 101, the business case is typically investment required and return expected. But because of corona uncertainty, I think you have to break both investment and return in short term and long term. Short term investment, short term return, long term investment in long term return. And MES will be competing with so many priorities. So here we need to help MES stakeholders to building the right business case, as you are talking about your MES assessment framework. So in that context, I like your ITC Infotech approach of MES Express. So where you can have the short term very fast, you can get the returns and then move ahead. So if I summarize, your direction is clear, the speed might be slow.
Very brilliant and very well said. Since we're running out of time, what is the last advice or a thought that you would like to leave our audience with?
Right. I think broadly, when we say this, many people have not decided on MES. So if you are having a greenfield implementation, you can think of big bang approach and planning and all. If you are having brownfield, think of step by step. For whatever you decide, don't short circuit the planning process. Don't underestimate the decisions you will make now will impact you later. So you'll have to make decisions about selecting MES vendor, MES implementation partner, your internal team targets and all. So I will quickly end with a quote from this Martin Luther King Jr. So if you can't run, walk. If you can't walk, crawl. But keep moving. So definitely keep moving your digital transformation with MES.
I think a very well said statement and a very well quote to end the webinar today. So thank you, Mr. Parakh, for joining us. Thank you, Mr. Martin. Thank you for your invaluable time, and thank you for sharing your insights with us. Thank you to the audience for participating. We have survey questions for you at the end of this webinar. I would request you all to please take the survey, and we highly appreciate your feedback and your inputs. With that, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you to the organizations, and once again, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.